Yeah, I've shared those recordings. Hope everyone got the mail, right? Yeah, Amar, it seems that you face the problem in previewing that records. Are you able to preview it? Hello? Yeah, Amar. What about Amar? Amar, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are able to preview the videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Right, I'll share the other three recordings also today. Okay, just go to that. So today I'll not discuss any new topic. What I'll do is I'll take the yesterday's example only. We'll address that performance issues there. Okay, so let me open the yesterday's example. Yeah, so if you see this, what is the last component? 6. Yeah, so in the yesterday's example, we wrote the logic first in which method? WD do init method. Okay, so let me just open that. So in the view 1, we have implemented what? WD do init method. We wrote the select statement, we got it. Okay, so just observe here. Observe, I declared a local internal table referring to what? Dictionary structure. So I want to avoid all these things. Okay, so far what you're doing, we are declaring the internal tables referring to what? Dictionary objects. Okay, and similarly, when I'm getting the reference of the node, we gave what? Node name. We have hard coded what? Node name. We have hard coded the node name. Okay, and what is the other redundancy we have observed? We are getting the reference of VBAK node both in what? WD do init method, as well as inside what? That on lead select event. Here also we are getting the reference of what? Same node. So three things I want to address. One is, I should not refer to what? Dictionary objects. Understood? Another point is what? We are, wherever you want to get the reference of the node, we are hard coding what? The node name. Hard coding means in the method itself we are providing the node name. So I should avoid this hard coding, and we should avoid the redundancy of what? Getting the reference of the node. So see the changes here quickly. I'll develop a new component. So Z10AMWD7, same thing, but I'm going to refer everything dynamically. No static declaration. Okay. So whatever the approach we have followed is what? Static declaration means directly we are referring to dictionary objects and we are hard coding the names. So I'll create the new component. Just see the changes. Dynamic references. Window name I'll give it as what? Underscore what? Window. View name, let me give it as what? V1. Okay, continue. Done. I'll save it in the local object. Right, so I'm saving it in the local object. Done. So first what I'll do is, what is the first thing you have to do? In the view level, we have to visualize your layout. What is my layout requirement? I require what? Two tables. So since I require two tables, I require what? Two context nodes. So before we design the layout, make sure that view context is what? Available. Then we have to decide whether the context should be created directly at the view level, or whether to create the context at what? Component level, then map it to what? View. In this case, I am having only what? One view. So I can directly create the context at what? View level. Going forward, my component will contain what? Multiple views. I'll share the data across the views. So I'll create the context at what? Component level. So in this case, I'll go to view one context. Let me open it in editable mode, right? So here I'll go to the view context. Already we know this is called as what? Root context, represented by which interface? If underscore wd underscore context node. The object of that interface is what? Wd underscore what? Context. Okay, done. So let me create two context nodes. Right click on the node, create. Right click on the node, create. What is the node? Any name you can give. I'll give what? VBAK underscore node. Okay. Cardinality I'll choose what? 0 to n, because I need to bind this node with what? Table. Dictionary structure. What is the structure we have? ZC VBAK. So in your laptop, you create a custom structure with the required fields. So I'm referring to my own custom structure. Cardinality is what? 0 to n. I will add the attributes from what? Structure. Yes, I can give 1 to n. I may or may not have what? Sales orders. That is the reason, to be on safer side, I give 0 to n. I may have 0 sales order or multiple sales orders. If I give 1 to n, minimum what? 1. That is the reason I am going for 0 to n. I will select what? All the required fields, done. So one node is what? Created. Let me create another node. Right click on that, create node. I'll give the node name as VBAP underscore node. Dictionary structure is what? GC I'll give the cardinality as what? 0 to n. Here also I'll add the attributes from the structure. Let me select all the four fields. So two nodes are what? Created. Two nodes are created. Now this is important. Just try to understand. Right? So for every view create. What is the view we have created? Okay, for every view we create, one interface gets generated. What is the interface name? If underscore what? View name. This is nothing but what? Yes, local interface. So in our context, what is the view name? V1. What is the interface name? If underscore what? V1. Right? So for every view we create, a local interface gets created. Done. Now, in the view context, what I did? I created what? Node. I created two nodes. Okay. So node one, what is the node one I created? VBAK underscore node. Okay. So here I'll put it like this. For every node we create, SAP will generate what? One what? Work area, and it will generate what? One internal table for every node we create. So this work area name will be element underscore what? Node name. Am I clear? And internal table name is what? Elements underscore what? Node name. So this is a thing you have to remember. For every node we create, SAP will create what? One work area and one internal table. What is the work area naming standard? Element underscore node name, and internal table is elements underscore node name. So where this gets created? As part of your local interface. What is the local interface here? If underscore what? View name. Here also what? If underscore view name. Am I clear? So let me cross check. So in our case, what is the node we created? VBAK underscore node. So what is the work area you'll get? Yes. What is the work area? Element underscore what? Node name. What is the node name? VBAK node. Then you'll get what? One internal table. What is the internal table name now? Elements underscore what? VBAK underscore nodes. Clear? So let me cross check these things. I'll cross check these things. So I created what? Two nodes. So first of all, this is my view. What is the local interface name? If underscore what? V1. If underscore V1. So let me navigate to this interface and check whether these components got created or not. Okay. So let me double click on this. Right. I'll double click on this. Done. right? So this is my interface. Observe carefully. Yeah. Okay, see here, what is this here? Types. What is this? Element underscore what? Node name. Type what? Structure. Our node is referring to which structure? ZCVBAK. Then what else? Elements underscore what? Node name. Type standard table. Nothing but what? Internal table based on this particular work area. Based on this particular work area. Am I clear? Similarly, for VBAP also you check element underscore what? VBAP underscore node type ZCVBAP elements underscore VBAP node type what? Standard table. Am I clear? This is a thumb rule you have to remember. Clear? And apart from this, for every node we create, SAP will create what? One constant also. What is the naming? What is the name of this? WCTX. WCTX. Yeah. See here, WCTX 17 underscore what? Node name. So here, what is the constant name here? Yes, WDCTX underscore what? VBAK underscore node. Okay, so this will contain constant means we'll have fixed value. Na? What is it holds? Holds what? Node name. So here also, what does it holds? What is the node name? VBAK underscore what? Node. This constant will hold what? Node name. VBAK underscore node. Yeah. What is the doubt here? Type standard table of work area. What is this work area? Types only, na? So what? How do you create an internal table? Internal table name type table of type name only, na? What is the type name here? This only, na? Understood? So how do we create generally? We'll say what types, what begin of what? Some type name. You'll declare what? N number of what? What? Fields. Then you'll say what? Data. You'll say what first? Internal what? Table. You'll say type. Table of what? Type name. That's what structure. Okay. And here you'll say what? Work area. You'll say type what? Type name. So we will not use any table of keyword. If you use table of, it is what? Internal table. If I don't use, it is what? Work area. So here also same thing. Na? Here they are referring to what? Dictionary structure. It can be local or what? Global. So, okay, and what is the? I have not developed this. This is auto generated. Na? Yeah, they have designed like this. When you are declaring, you will give like this. Both are what? Same. Here, this type is available locally, na? It not be, need not be available locally. It can be available at what? Yes, dictionary also. Here also, it need not be available what? Locally. It can be available what? Dictionary. So here they are referring to what? Dictionary, na? Because you have created this node referring to which dictionary structure? ZCVBA. So they are referring to that. And what is the constant got created? See, what is this? WCTX underscore what? Node name. Type what? String. What is the value? Node name. What is the node name? VBAK node. Similarly, here also, where is the WTCTX underscore VBAP node type string? What is the value? VBAP underscore node. Clear? So for every node we create, remember these things. You will get a work area, you will get an internal table, you will get what? Constant. Online, is it clear to everyone? So once you know this, you can play with Webdynpro. Am I clear? So when the code is generated by using Wizard also will follow this naming standards. Okay. So now let us go and what? Modify our code. Right. Acha, in the view, how many nodes are available? Two nodes. Then once a view context is available, what you have to do? Design the layout na. What is the sequence? First context, then what? Layout, then what? Implementation. Context, layout, and what? Implementation. I'll go to layout. I require two tables na. So I'll go to code wizard table, right? Context node. What is the context node? VBAK node. Done. Continue. Right. So it got created. It got created. If you want, give the text sales orders. Done. Next. I require one more table. Na? So select what? Always all the UI elements are created as a child of what? Root. So remember the thumb rule. Whenever you are creating any UI element, make sure that this is selected. Sometimes by mistake, what you'll do? You'll select this one, you may create. So it gets created, but it is created as a child of this one. So code also have to modify again. So make sure that you'll create all the elements as child of what? Root element container. Table, continue. What is the context node? VBAP node, continue. Done, done, done. What is that I have to give here? Table, sorry, text. For the second table also, I'll choose the caption. Text I'll give it as what? Sales item. So already we have seen yesterday. What is the important property for table? Data source. See, this is important. The important property for table is what? Data source. Since I created the table by using wizard, data source property is automatically binded. Going forward, I'll not create the table by using what? Wizard. At that time, manually we have to set what? Data source property. Data source property always expects what? Node name. Data source property is always binded with what? Node. Okay? Remember that point. Done. Save it. Check it. Then embed attach this view to what? Window. Since we have only one view, this view is automatically attached to embedded to what? Window. So if I double click, done. Then in order to execute, I need to create what? Application. Right click on the component, create what? Webdynpro application. I'll give the application name as what? Underscore app. So whatever the approach I followed yesterday, that is not the recommended approach. Whatever the approach I am following now, rest of the course I'll follow that approach only. Is it clear? Done. Save it. Application got created. A URL gets generated. Let me quickly activate this component. Yes, it is activated. So once a component is activated, what we can do, we can test our application by using what? URL. So let me just check it. So I click and say test. Done. So I got the blank. What is the first job? You have to default the data in what? First table. So what is the method I need to implement? WD do init. So in the view level, I'll go to what? Methods tab. What is the first method which gets called? WD do init. Okay. So yesterday what I did, I retrieve the data. For that I require what? Internal table. So here also get what? Sales orders. Yesterday what I did? I declared what? Internal table. How I declared? T underscore VBAK type table of what? ZC VBAK. This is what I declared yesterday. Na? This I'll say what? Not what? Recommended. Okay, now see here. Data what? T underscore VBAK type, right? I need to refer to internal table. referring to this structure na. So what is the node behind that? VBAK node. What is the internal behind that? Yes, elements underscore what? VBAK underscore node. Is it clear? Where it is available? Inside our local interface. If you want cross check once again, I'll go to what? Attributes. If you double click on my local view, do we have that? Elements underscore VBAK node type standard table of what? Element VBAK node type what? ZC VBAK. So I need to refer to this internal table na? So how do we access? How do we access the components of interface? I can access by using what? Interface name also. Let me check. What is the name of the interface? IF underscore what? V1 implies, understood, implies what? Elements underscore VBAK underscore what? Node. Let me check whether this is valid or not. Save. Check, no errors. Is it clear? Can I call this as the internal table? Yes. I can do like this. Or data T underscore VBAK type. Earlier I accessed this component directly by using what? Interface name, right? If I go to attributes, what is the object of this interface given by SAP? Object only na. Ref2 is selected means what? Object. What is the object? WD underscore what? This. So I'll say WD underscore this arrow operator. Already we know. If you access by using object, you have to use arrow operator. What is that? Elements underscore VBAK underscore what? So this also is fine. No advantage, disadvantage. I can go by this approach or what? This approach. Is it clear to everyone? Right? So stop me if you have doubts. Okay. So select what? VBLN ER DAT ER ZDT ER NAM from what? VBAK into table. What is the internal table? T underscore VBAK. Also what? Up to what? To 50 rows. Then what? If size of bars is equal to what? 0. What I have to do? I have to bind this, I have to display this internal table data in the first table. Na? First table is binded with what node? VBAK node. So I have to get the reference of VBAK node. Na? How to get the reference of VBAK node? Get child node. Am I clear to everyone? Get child node. Right? Get child node. So in the yesterday's case, we are calling that get child node. We are directly giving what? Node name. Let me open that yesterday's programmer. 1 second. What is yesterday? 30th, na? Yeah. If you see yesterday's node, what you are doing? We are calling which method? Get child node. We are directly giving what? Node name. We are receiving the reference. This reference are declared locally, na? So this reference will be destroyed once you come out of what? WD do init. Again in the onLead select, unnecessarily we are getting the reference of same node. Na? So now I know that I require this node reference in two cases. What are the two cases? First case is I have to default the data. For that I require what? Reference. Second case is in the runtime I need to identify the selected row. To identify the selected row also I have to get the reference of this node. Na? So I don't want to repeat that what? Getting the reference. So what I'll do? I want that reference in what? Two methods. What are the two methods? One is what? WD unit method. Acha, I forgot. I forgot. For the first table, I need to set onLead select na. Yesterday we have set right. When you select a row, what is the event triggered? OnLead select. Then only action is available. So for the first table, what is the event? OnLead select. This one OnLead select. I'll just click on this. I'll give the action name as get underscore what? Sales underscore items. Get sales items of what? Selected sales order row. Am I clear? Done. So I created one action. So on behalf of that action, on behalf of this action, one method gets created. Na? What is this? on action. So what is my requirement now? That reference I have to use it in two methods. One is WDD init, another is what? This event handler method. Both these methods belong to the same controller only, belongs to the same view controller only. So I should use it across the methods of the same view. So what I'll do, I'll not, yesterday what I did, I declared it locally in the method. So it's a local. So what I'll do now, in my view level, in the view attributes, I'll declare here. What I'll say is any name, context underscore what? VBAK underscore node. What is this? Type ref2. What is the interface? If underscore WD underscore what? Context underscore what? Node. Is it clear? So I declared what? Reference of what? If WD context node. Can I call this a global attribute? Yes, global attribute of this view. I cannot use it in another view. I can use it what? Within the methods of this view. Is it clear? Done. Online, is it clear to everyone? Right? So I declared, okay. So based on your declaration, based on your declaration, okay, based on your declaration, SAP will generate a corresponding component in my local interface. What is my local interface? If underscore v1. So let me go to my local interface. Let me check whether we have this declaration available or not. Just now I declared, na? So when I go to this local interface, check anywhere, is it there? It's there here, na? What is this? Data context VBA node type ref to what? If WD what? Context node. So whatever I declare at my view attribute level, based on that declaration, one corresponding entry gets created in what? Local view interface. So what is that name? Same name now. What is this? Context VBA node type ref to if WD what? Context node. Done? Right. So this is what kind of attribute? Instance na? Anything declared using data is what? Instance. How do we access instance components? By using the object. What is the object of this interface? W underscore this. Okay. So see the technique now. So what I'll do now, I'll go to what? WD init. What is the next step? Get the what? Reference of which node? VBAK node. Get the reference of VBAK node. So our VBAK node is a child of root. Root object is what? WD context. Same story. Go to pattern. What is this? WD context. What is the interface? If WD context, what is the method? Get what? Child node. Done. Get child node. Yeah, yesterday directly I gave the name of the node. Na? What is the name of the node? VBAK underscore what? Node. Now I'll call this as what? Not what? Recommended. So what I'll do now? What I'll do? Here I'll say name equal to, just now I told on behalf of every node, one constant gets created. Na? What is the constant name? WTCTX underscore what? VBAK underscore node, which contains the node name only. Na? So what is the constant name? WCTX underscore VBAK underscore what? Nodes. What I can say here? If underscore what? V1 implies, what is that? WCTX underscore what? VBAK underscore what? Node. I can do like this. Okay. Yeah. What is the reference? Can I directly say like this? No, no. It is available inside what? This is available inside what? My interface. What is the object of this interface? W underscore what? This. So what I have to say here? W underscore this of what? So yesterday I declared this directly in the method. Directly I was saying this. But now this is available as what? View attribute. What is the lifetime of this attribute now? Throughout the view. The lifetime of this attribute is what? Throughout the view. Means it is available across what? All the methods of this particular view. So that's what I have done here. Okay. Let me check it here. Then what? If what? W underscore this of what? Context underscore VBAK underscore node is what? Is bound? Yeah, is bound. What I have to do? Bind what? Sales orders. Yeah, same na. What is the method we have to use? Bind table. What is the internal table? What is the internal table? T underscore what? VBAK. And if else what? Flash message to indicate what? No sales orders. First, let me execute, then I'll do a small change. Then, okay, let me retest it. Say what? Test. Did I got the data defaulted? Yes, I got the data defaulted. So here, how to access that constant? See, if you go to the local interface, what is the constant name? WCTX underscore VBAK underscore node. I am accessing this constant by using what? Interface name. Okay, let me check whether I can access by using the object. Is what I have to say here. Or, am I clear? Name equal to, what is this object of this interface? WD underscore this arrow operator na? Arrow operator. Whenever we access by using what? Object, we have to use what? Arrow operator. Let me check whether it is satisfied or not. Yes, done. So why I am showing these multiple cases is when you come across any code which is already developed, okay, in standard Webdynpro component, wherever it is, they may follow this approach or what? This approach. Both would be what? Same. If I am accessing by using interface name, I have to use implies, either as what? Arrow operator. Done. So these are all called as what? Dynamic references. These are all called as dynamic references. What is the advantage of this? If I do like this, I said not recommended. Why? Because as of now, how many fields are there? Four. Working fine. In future, customer will say, I want one additional field. If you go and change at the structure level, structure might be used in thousand different places. Na? You have to make changes in all, which is not correct. Here, what I can do? I can directly go to what? This one, I can add one more attribute here. Na? I can say right click on this what? Create what? Attribute. It is not allowing because as of it is referring to what? Dictionary structure. I can remove this. I can remove this. Now I can say what? Right click and say what? Create what? Oh, still not allowing. I need to save, I think. One. Save. Check it. Right click on this. Create what? Now it is what? Am I clear? So without disturbing what? My dictionary structure. It is not recommended to disturb the dictionary objects now. So that is why you must follow this particular approach. Am I clear? So don't go for what? What happened? I have to select now once again. Done. Is it clear? You have to make the necessary changes. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. Done. Okay. Yeah. This is warning letter to the table. Just leave it. Activate this. Is it clear? So always you have to go for what? Dynamic references. Dynamic references. Let me re-execute once again. Then I'll get. Oh, what happened? Might be the layout got disturbed. This is my table. Na? Check the data source property. I'll just delete what? Delete the context binding. Understood? I have deleted it. Save it, check it. Data source of the table must be what? Bound. So I'll choose this again. What is this? VBAK node. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. Property text of element editor does not contain a value. Okay, 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 okay. Right. So it got disturbed here. Yeah, this one. Text property. I need to bind with that attributes now, individual attributes. You understood the problem? I have modified my what context. Layout also got what? Disturbed. So I am resetting it. Okay. First data source property of binding with what? VBAK node. And individual columns I have to bind with what? Respective attributes. So do the same thing for other thing also. This one, na? What is the property? It's text property. Yeah. What is this? ER DAT. Then what? ER ZET. ERZET. Done. ERNAM editor. ERNAM. Done. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. No errors. You understood now? Because in the context level I removed the structure. Again I have centered. So it will definitely disturb what layout. So again I have to reset it. So save it. Done. Activate it. Let me execute this. Now I am able to see the columns. Let me check the data. I got the data. Done. Is it clear? So the main focus as of now is what? In the WD unit method, I am not doing the static references. I am doing what? Dynamic references. Means even if you change the context, I need not disturb my code. Okay. Even if I change my what? Node name. Even if I change my node name, right click on this. What is this? If I rename, I need not what? Disturb my code na? Because earlier yesterday what I did? I what? Hard coded the name. Understood? So these are all the advantages. Done. And this attribute, what is the lifetime of this attribute? Throughout the view. Because I added as what? View attribute. Now let us go to the action. This is the action. What is the corresponding method? On action, action name. Yeah, what is the first step I have to do here? Yeah, yesterday what we did, we have to identify the selected row means, first of all, again we have to get the reference of which node? VBAK node, yesterday. Okay, but now, yesterday, every time we are getting the reference. Now it is available globally. Na? So if you see the yesterday's this thing, so in the on lead select, again we are getting the reference of which node? VBAK node. Now I need not get the reference. Already it is available globally. Na? So just to be on safer side, what I'll do is if what WD underscore this, what is the global reference? Context underscore VBAK underscore node is what? Bound. If it is still available, it will be available, but I'm just cross checking it. If it is bound, what I have to do? Get the what? No, not the reference is already available. Get the selected row. You understand the advantage? Yesterday, unnecessarily we wrote this again, which is redundancy. Now I am not directly I'm checking what? If it is bound, you have to what? Identify the selected row. Selected row means nothing but a work area. Na? So yesterday what I did for referring to the work area, again I said data, again dictionary object. Na? Now I will not refer to dictionary object. What I will do? Data what? W underscore VBAK type. What is the work area available? Element underscore what? VBAK node. I can access either by using interface name or object name. So I'll say W underscore this arrow operator. What is this? Element underscore VBAK underscore node. So how to get the selected row? We have to call a method what? Get static attributes. Here also same thing. What is the reference of that node? This only na? So I'll go to pattern. What is the reference? WD underscore what? This. WD underscore this. What is the method? Get underscore static underscore what? Attributes. Get static attributes. Done. What is the work area? W underscore what? VBAK. Done. Next, if W underscore VBAK is what? Not. If it is not initial, what I have to do? Then, yes. Get what? Sales items. I require internal table. Na? So data what? T underscore what? VBAP. Type what? W underscore this of what? Elements underscore what? VBAP underscore. Am I clear to everyone? Okay, done. Get the data. Select what? Weblen, PSNR, material number, NETWR from VBAP into table. What is the internal table? T underscore VBAP, where VBLN is equal to work area. What is this? W underscore VBAK hyphen VBLN. Done. Okay. Then if size of r is equal to 0, I have to bind this internal with the second table. Second table is bounded with what node? VBAP node. I have to get the reference of this na, and I require this reference only in this method. So I can get it locally na. Unnecessarily I should not declare it globally. Understood? So again, people will everything they'll try to declare what? Globally. Again, which is the expensive task. If I require that reference in multiple places, declare it at what? View attribute. Okay. So now what I'll do directly, I'll declare. What is this? Get the what? Reference of the node. Which node? VBAP underscore node. Data context underscore VBAP node. Type ref to what is the interface? If underscore W underscore context underscore node. I'll use the pattern, ABAP objects pattern. Yeah, what is this? Under root. What is the method? Get child node. Understood? Our VBAP node is under root. That's why I have to use this one. Index. What is the node name? WD underscore what? This of what? WD context underscore what? VB. Understood? I am avoiding the hard coding here. Right? Done. Child node. What is the reference? Context underscore VBAP underscore node. Then if context underscore VBAP underscore node is what? Bound. What I have to do? Bind what? Sales items. So what I have to do here? Context underscore VBAP underscore node of what? Bind table. What is the internal table? T underscore what? VBAP. And if. Okay. Else I'll say what? Flash message to indicate what? No sales items. And if anything else I have to close anywhere, this is if, yeah, this one. Okay, two things, two indexes. I'll use a pretty printer. Done. Okay, so when I execute this, right click and say what? Test. Right, I'll choose 4972. I got that 4970. Yes. Everything getting what? Changed. Is it clear? Acha, how many rows I'm able to see at a time? 5 rows. Only what? 5 rows. So let me check whether I can control anywhere. I'll go to what? Layout. Am I clear? I'll choose what? I'll choose a table, right? Table properties. Check anywhere we have any suitable property for that. For the first table, visible row count is 5. So I'll say what? 10. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. Activate this. I click on this and say test. I got what? 5. Right? Acha. Okay. The multiple rows again we have to see later on. Whenever we select what is the event triggered, on lead select. So that's what. So this is a way to refer to the what components dynamically. Clear? So every Webdynpro code you have to write like this only. So you need to refer to what this particular part. So let me put it in a folder. Right, so for every node this gets created. For every node you'll get work area, internal level, and what constant. I'll do one thing just for understanding. This is my context. I'll create an individual attribute. So let me check for individual attribute anything gets created. Okay, so right click on the context, right click on the context, create what attribute. I'll give the attribute name as a1, type what something what string. So I created one attribute. Let me check any declaration available. Where to check? In the local interface. Double click on the local interface, check anywhere. Yes. What is there? One types. What is the type name? Element underscore context. Under this, what is the attribute name? A1 type what string. So what is the understanding now? Yes, what is the understanding? For every this is for every node, right? Okay, and for every what every attribute what gets created is what gets created one types. What is the name? What is the name? Element underscore what context hyphen what attribute name. So if I give the attribute name as what, here I'll say every what every individual what attribute. So if I take the attribute as what a1, so how do we refer to this now? Yes, element underscore what context hyphen what a1. Is it clear? Let me create one more attribute. Right click on the root context, create what attribute. I'll give the attribute name as a2, type what integer. Right, so what is the understanding? Under the same types declaration, what is that? Element underscore context, this attribute should be available na? Go to this and check. Yes, right, under same thing you'll have what both the attributes. So how do we understand here? Suppose here we have what attribute what a2. So how do we refer to this? Element underscore what context hyphen what a2, like this. Clear? So in the context what you will do, either you will create what a node or you will create what individual attribute only. So done. Is it clear? So these things are not required, But for your understanding, I have referred there. Save it, check it. Shall I delete this? Not required, no, in this case. So I'll delete this. Right click on this, delete. Right click on this, say delete. Activate this. Done. So any questions? Right? So you try this exercise. The exercise is, I'll put it in your folder. You try to do this. Okay, so what I should take here? Item list box. Okay, which has to show all the what? Country keys. And I should take what? A button. And I should take what? One table. So what is the validation? I have to enable what? Multiple selection and what? Actually, we don't have this in our ABAP. In our ABAP, we have drop down. Drop down means what? When I click on that only, I can see what? List of items, and from there I can select only one value. Here we have drop down as well as what? List box. What is the difference between drop down and list box? Drop down allows us to select only one value. List box allows us to select what? Multiple values. So here you have to enable what? Multiple selection. So that in the runtime I'll select these two. I'll click on this button. So on click of button, what I have to do? Identify the multiple selected countries, get the corresponding customers of the what? Selected countries, and bind the customer to what? Table. Okay, so we know how to design table, we know how to bind the data to the table, we know about what is the event related to what button, we should know about only what? Item list box. So how do you proceed now? If you go back to that application, anyhow you try this. If you don't get, I'll also do it. 6 7 yeah, in this if you see how you have to proceed means. Acha, this is my item list box, na? Tell me what is the context I require for this. What is the context? I am dealing with the data, na? So I require what? Context. So can anyone tell me what is the context I require for item list box? Sorry, note. Okay. What is the cardinality? N. 1 to n or what? 0 to n. Then in that node, how many attributes I should take? One attribute, because we have to show what? List of what? Country keys. So I have to take what? Land one. I have to take what? Land one. Okay. All the country keys are available in which table? T005. T005. So I need to create a node referring to what dictionary structure? T005. In that, what is the field I have to select? Land one. Yes or no? Right? So if you see here, how to design this, I'll right click on this. Oh, it is in display mode. Right click on this, insert element. Type is what? Item list box. Type is what? Item list box. So somewhere here, item list box gets created on the layout. See here, somewhere here it will be available. Yes, we have what? Item list box. Understood? We have the item list box here. Okay, every UI element will contain some important properties. Na? So save it, check it. I got an error. What is the error here? Property data source of element list. So for list box also, what is the property? It seems data source. But before that, I have to create what? Context. Do that. Am I clear? Then, if I click on this button, what is the event triggered? On action. We have to identify multiple selection elements. Na? I have shown you a single selection. Get static attributes. So there might be some method which is going to return me what? List of what? Multiple selected elements. So you do it anyhow. I'll do the same example tomorrow. You also try. Then here I'm doing the action on what? Button. So what is the event triggered? That's all. What is the validation? Here what I'm doing? So I may select one row or what? Multiple row. No event here. I'll select. I'll hold the control key. I'll hold the control key. I'll select these two or three or four. Then I'll click on the button. It should identify what are the country keys you have selected. So I write the logic inside what? Button. Here, here when I select a value, no event is triggered because list box is what? I can select what? Multiple rows. My requirement is not for single value. Na. I should allow the user to select what? Multiple values. So I'll train the user saying that hold the control key and select what? N number of what? Oh, how do you reduce the size? This closes. Right? So try to do that. Anyhow, I'll do it tomorrow in the class, but just as a practice, you try this. And you have to follow this approach, whatever I followed so far. Dynamic references. Clear? So try to do that. Tomorrow we'll have the class. Same time, we'll see what item list box. So I'll try to share today's recording also. Okay, first I'll share today's recording so that I will understand what rest of the classes. Any questions, please ask me online. Is Webdynpro easy or tough? Mm, these things. Okay, so try to do that tomorrow. Those are attending OOPS same time 8:45, and this Webdynpro at what? Around same time 10 o'clock. Done? Chalo then. So I'll wind off. We'll continue tomorrow same time.